Hey, 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 welcome back to Drive Time. I am your host, Craig Pasta Jardula, and we do it live, bringing you all the hot takes, headlines, and unfiltered opinions that matter most. Whether you're stuck in traffic, cruising to work, or just chilling at home, we want to hear from you. Today's topics are all about the big stories making waves, but we're not just here to talk at you. We want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your take on everything from the latest political debates to the everyday challenges we face. Remember, whether you're on the left, the right, or somewhere in between, we welcome all points of view. So grab that hands-free device, dial us up, and let's dive into the conversation. What's on your mind? It's Drive Time. Call in now. Good morning, everyone. It's Drive Time, like I like to say, your time to get involved, to talk, to throw your opinions into the ring. It's going to be interesting today. Today is like the Monday, right? So I know that everybody knows we lost one of our favorite senators. Moment of silence.
Happy Mitch McConnell, or not Mitch McConnell, well, maybe. Happy Cozy Grab his dead day for all those who celebrate.
Oh, God. I know when that announcement was being said, when it was saying, we are unfortunate to report that Senator, and everybody would write in their head when they heard Senator, they're like, oh, Mitch McConnell kicked the bucket. Lindsey Graham is dead. What?
Dude, I was in a shit ass mood like when I got up, and then like I saw that and I damn near did a dance.
Stop.
Dude, that guy is a war whore.
Thank God for it.
Dude, seriously, that guy was probably the biggest sitting war whore in the Senate.
Every single fucking war.
Everyone.
He's had so many disgusting things he said, right? Like, we're going to go through them. We're going to talk about them. A lot of stuff going on. Graham Plattner, we talked about it last week. We'll kind of get a little revisit on that too as well. I don't know if more information's come to light, but I still want to see hear people's opinions on that whole situation. Is that normal, just leftist, woke Democratic Party politics? Or is there something bigger going on over there, right? I always talk about the Streisand effect. We talked often about Donald Trump. Whether you believe it or not, it really did. The assassination attempts, and I got air quotes there when I say that, towards Donald Trump really lifted him. When he was accused or never convicted, but tried, was he convicted of some of the shit? I don't even remember. I
don't even know.
After him, the lawfare, there was obvious hits. It really, it lifted Donald Trump up. There's something about when you can take somebody and you can make them the victim. Number one, the perception is that you automatically believe that he or she is fighting against the machine. They're going after him. They want to shut him up. He's fighting the machine, Sleepy.
Yeah,
right.
He is the machine. Fuck, dude.
Well, that's the thing.
Just the amount of money that man is.
He is the machine. He's part of the machine. But yet they do these things to sway public. It's like they treat the public, the citizenry, as if they're a WWE audience, and the ones that do pay attention do fall for it.
It's true. It's endlessly maddening.
Fred Edward put up a nice little comment because it is crazy. I don't know if anybody knows this or everybody knows this or some people know this, but the bombing that's been going on back in the region, all over Tehran, they hit like different provinces. I'm reaching out to some of my friends in honor of Lady Lindsay. The U.S. is bombing again in Iran, eliminating stocks of HIMARS and Tomahawks. Well, they got to be replaced, right? So it's not going to be just about Israel. It's going to be all those Western corporations, right, that are owned by the stockholders of America.
They don't make too many. The problem is they don't make too many of those a year, man. They're all made by hand because we're idiots.
Well, I mean, they'll figure out a way to step it up. Oh, we could do double the thing now. We can open it on up.
Double is 1,200 a year. We lost more than that in the first 40 days, dude.
Yeah. So maybe they'll triple them. Maybe they'll quadruple of them.
Still, though, that's still nothing.
They'll find a way to spend the money to get more weapons in the tool shed. Just fucking know that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Might be something different, whatever the case may be. But that 1.5 trillion is going to go into some pockets for some weapons. We know that. That's just happened.
It's just when are they going to get delivered? Because you look at the details on a lot of these contracts for getting new weapons, and they're like 5 years out and shit.
Oh, I know that, but that means they've listen. They've had something in the can, then, right? You know what I'm saying? America ain't going to be going out without no weapons.
It's not that we don't have weapons. It's the standoff munitions we don't make a ton of in the air defense and stuff. Like the other, like dumb bombs and shit, we got absolute fuck tons of those.
Yeah, but there's got to be an armory of stuff that they're not telling us about that we don't know, that the world doesn't know about it, right? Like there's got to be.
I don't know, man. Like the Andrei Martyanov has talked a lot about this. I mean, he's written books about it and shit. Like we're behind on the arms race like by decades because of our procurement system. Just the way they procure new weapons and technology. I mean, look at the F-35, that boondoggle piece of shit. How much money did they throw on that thing? And it's like 20% combat ready because it's a hangar queen.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, they can design new weapons, but all the weapons, I mean, the Patriots were shit to begin with. So I've read a lot about this, man. We don't make good weapons, we make expensive weapons. That's a different beast. We used to make good weapons.
Athena laser strike systems. We have all those as laser weapons. I'm saying.
I mean,
we
probably.
We went on a bombing campaign yesterday. So what the fuck were we dropping yesterday? We dropped a shit ton of weapons over the last 24 hours. Shit ton of bombs.
I mean, they still got a lot of JASSMs and shit like that. So
what do they have?
JASSMs. They're basically they basically strap a glide kit onto dumb bombs, so they can have some maneuverability there. It's the stand-up weapons that we have tons of the other stuff, but they have to fly farther into Iran for that, and then you're basically getting shot down. So that's why they're going through all the HIMARS and stuff. The problem with Ted Postal's analysis is he doesn't take into account the types of targets you're firing at with those systems. They're not 3%. It's more like 30%, but it's still 30% is shit for air defense. If you got 70% leakers, dude, you're not doing good. Like that's 7 out of 10 missiles are hitting your ass.
We can also use earthquake weapons, HARP, where we have troops deployed. So that's going to be very interesting. All I know is that they're waging war. They're still going on. They're dropping bombs left and right. I know things haven't stopped in fucking Lebanon. Things haven't stopped in Gaza. So,
no. And if anything, it's stepped up. Yeah. Like when we're not paying attention to Gaza and stuff, they bomb it even harder. So
see, right now that and YouTube is so weird because like if you go to the thing, it says I'm live, but my circle icon isn't lit up. But I got to tell you something. In the first 10 minutes, having 17 people, 18 people in YouTube, people are starting to find out about this show, and it's kind of awesome, right? Because it is our show. This is a show to bring back, the voices out there that talking about the media we need to be talking about, not talking about the media they want us to be talking about. And there's a lot of things all over the board with this show. I said I wanted to talk about, with a lot of normies out there, regular people, get them more involved, let them start understanding things. I didn't count on having such an intelligent audience like yourselves, guys. It's really, truly is amazing, some of the conversations. But people have been telling me, like, listen, Pasta, you got a way of taking that and making that information a little bit more understandable to the normies out there. Because a lot of people still don't believe, Josh, that we're living in a shadowy government system. There's a lot of people out there who believe it, but there's more people. And there's also this attitude, right? And we talked about this with our boy from Melbourne, right? Where it's just, well, yeah, we know the government's corrupt, but what are we going to do? Go back to work?
A lot of people honestly just don't know, dude. I mean, they're either propagandized or just underinformed. It's mostly underinformed is what I find. Because the news, they just don't talk about a lot of things.
But do you remember the first time you were approached about fucking HARP, approached or talked about weather modification? It was just so outlandish. Like a regular normal person doesn't believe it. Dude, I remember.
I didn't hardly believe that shit either. Like,
exactly.
so
Before
I
I
get
talked
it.
to Dane Wigington, I had a hard time with it. But I remember one time being on the Jimmy Dore show and I mentioned it, and Jimmy gave me a look like they're not trying to control the weather. And I'm like, yeah, they are. Like,
Yeah, I thought it was.
like,
I thought it was
yes,
outlandish.
they
And
are. I got a
but they.
fucking
Yeah.
snappy look. Sorry,
But yeah, I mean, it's not like they haven't. I mean, as you know, Dave from Melbourne has said, like, all this stuff's documented, man. Like, all these programs, etc. So, like, I had no clue. Once I kind of pulled a thread on that, though, I'm like, oh my god, they're actually doing that shit. Like,
and a lot of people too, what this show has made me do is like when now everybody's still there's a group of people, and I don't want to shit my friends involved in this too as well, that really are kind of pointing towards CERN as being one of the reasons that things are popping off and going crazy again because it's shut down, yada yada yada. That I don't know, because of our professor here, Snorky, has said that there's other colliders out there all over the place, bigger colliders. So if there's other colliders everywhere, why is everybody so kind of like fixated on just CERN by itself? I mean, CERN is the perfect fucking target because of their ritual symbolic dancing and those things they do, Sleepy. I mean, it's creepy ass fucking shit. They make it think like they're fucking dancing from Malak and Baal or whatever. Is it Malak? What is his name?
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, one of those.
Andrew would know.
Yeah, Andrew would know. Jason Burmis would know that shit. I think Malak is one of them. Baal is one of them. Somebody sent us a video last week and was like, check out this Instagram video. And it said, we're going to view 7 deities. And it was talking about these demons or deities and what they're in charge of and what they do and how they corrupt things and whatnot. And it made a lot of sense. But I don't know where I was going. I have a scary thought of you, Pasta. Facebook tries to depress their users so they'll spend more money on ads. What do you think Harp will do? Oh, geez. Bob from Atlanta's hanging on over at the Rumble. What's up, buddy? Good to see you this morning. I don't know. You still think it's the Zionist by itself? I don't know. I still get those texts. People uber fixated on Zionism.
Andre Marcianoff, he puts it well. He says the U.S. and Israel are locked in a Dutch rudder.
Yes.
And that's pretty fucking accurate.
Hands. It's just like I said, everybody's okay with the war or the bombing yesterday. Why? Because they're tied into the stock. The people, well, I don't want to say everybody. The people in the United States that are tied into the stock market, right? That make a lot of money. I live in a building where there are so many people who just live off the stock market. So we're going to bring in our co-host for today, guys. I got somebody special over here. I met this guy at a festival. Didn't quite understand the whole beauty of Alex Strenger until we got to know each other even more. And today I'm wearing the street that I wore in Texas when we went to, in Austin, when we went to a pizzeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Alex Strenger.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Definitely. Let's get a big size next to me, so I'm not just there. No.
There we go. I like it.
Oh,
there we go. You know, you're supposed to have the light source in front of you. Why do you geniuses have a hard time just bringing dishes to the sink? You have this amazing brain. I said, like, Alex is like that guy on what's his name? A Perfect Mind, when he's writing all over the fucking chalkboard, could do all the numbers. The guy is like really smart, but basic things smart people can't do.
Wait, hold on a second. But there are no dishes right here. Like, this is the office room.
All right, I was making a metaphor. The fact that you can't put the light in front of you, not the light, because now your face is like all shadowy. You actually look like Bozo the Clown. Don't back up more. Now we can't see who you are.
Oh, wow. All right.
Listen, did you just recently have a child or something? Or
yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, condolences. That's hard.
Yeah.
Welcome to no sleep.
I don't know if I was allowed to talk about that. See, I don't know. I get with you right wingers, and I don't know what I can say because y'all are fucking just like, and I don't want to say you're a right winger because you're an independent thinker. I'm
not a right winger at all.
Yeah.
Dude, listen. I mean, like the political landscape has changed so much about what's considered left and what's considered right. But dude, a lot of these right wingers are fucking morons, and I can't stand them.
Yeah.
I cannot stand them.
Yeah. No. Well, let's just say that you rolled with the right wing crowd, right? Like you would. I would always say, like, I know kind of people kind of like when it comes to like the lower the AAA ball players.
But dude, so did you. You also rolled with the right wing crowd.
Yeah, but I was their token leftist. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're like, oh, this is our token. This is our one lefty friend that we could talk to. That's not going to fucking belittle us for fucking not using our pronouns. Like, like, like everybody knew me as like the socialist friendly lefty. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, I would always say, like, Alex is in the comedy. He hangs with Alex Stein, Alex and Alex, and that kind of group. Like, I'd say you are like part of the populist right when it comes to your political opinions. We have done a show together, so we did talk politics, but not to put you in a box or kind of title you, because you are an independent thinker. I think so of myself, and that's why we can have a good time, great discussions, and a lot of fun. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's why I kind of,
Oh, it's okay. It's fine.
Well, welcome to the show, guys. Guys, if you want to pick up the phone, you want to call in, number's 561-247-2721. The number's 561-247-2721. That's Bernie Sanders' blackjack. Bernie Sanders used to say, my average donation is $27. So 27 is Bernie Sanders and 21 is blackjack. Have you been watching the World Cup?
A little bit. I saw the U.S. just get annihilated by Belgium.
Yes.
And I saw Argentina almost lose to Cape Verde, which is kind of cool. And now, like, the typical teams that always make it to the semifinals are in the semifinals. Like, nothing's changed.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Norway. I was really counting on them. They have this one beast.
What I liked about Norway was the fact that was the fact that they refused, like, they shipped in tons of food, like literal tons of food from their country to America because they refused to buy food at our grocery stores.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that? They they refused to buy food at American grocery stores, so they brought all of their food from home for the players, and they wouldn't allow they would not allow their players to eat at American grocery stores, which I found hilarious.
Like, no glyphosate for you, kids.
Pretty much.
So it's kind of funny because that's a subject right now, like the whole health industry, right? I'm supposed to have Tiffany Cianci on soon.
I thought you had her on last week.
No, she couldn't make it because she was traveling that day, and then I think she's traveling now. We're trying to figure out a way. She was at Freedom Fest. Excuse me, Freedom Fest this year with 35% more freedom. She was at Freedom Fest, which is, I don't even know who it used to be kind of like a libertarian, whatever, but they've gotten really awful when it comes to their election integrity shit. It's like they just bring in all these people. Unfortunately, that after January 6th, when we had the Capitol situation, and I was there because it was a Stop the Steal rally. Unfortunately,
you were at you were at January 6th?
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know you. So you're one of those MAGA terrorists? You're one of those MAGA terrorists? One of those domestic QAnon terrorists?
Pasta? No, I was not. And
it wasn't.
And there were no terrorists that I saw. There were no weapons that I saw. The majority of the people that were there were just good old Americans that were very concerned with their election. They wanted some transparency there. 95%
you participated in the biggest threat to democracy since 9/11, Pasta. How dare you?
Since Pearl Harbor. No, I know it's
9/11 and Pearl Harbor combined.
It's so ridiculous that they say that, and I talk about it all the time. Another reason why I would get shadow banned and shut down, because being a lefty that wants to talk about that, I was trying to talk on stage. At the time, I was pretty close with Tim Canova, and Tim Canova was talking with Ali, who had set up the Stop the Steal rally. And I had been talking in a lot of those events anyways. Like, I did the American Project, which was pretty much Patrick Burns and General Flynn's brother. That's their organizations. And I would talk on the solutions panel all the time because I go and observe these elections in other countries so I can talk confidently about elections. Now, elections integrity, that whole movement used to be a progressive thing until the 2020 election when Donald Trump got cheated. That's when everybody started coming out of the woodwork, and you have all these right-wing groups, whatnot. However, it's gotten very tainted now, the pool, and it seems that at Freedom Fest, they use all these jerk-off groups that want to blame immigrants for elections. But can't really connect the dots. I mean, they have this kind of like embedded biases, racist, xenophobic fucking mentality, and they let it cloud
what do you
the
think?
election game.
No, sure, but what do you think about a lot of Nick Shirley's videos lately, where you're kind of exposing how like NGOs are using the homeless to register to vote, and they're using like undocumented migrants to vote without verifying and I get what you're saying, but if you're in a state
where did he show undocumented immigrants? He showed a bunch of homeless people.
Okay, he didn't do that, and you're okay. Then
No.
I fucked up on it. Okay, well, let me finish. Though. Let me finish.
Good. Yeah. Well, just speak right. Just
sure.
speak
No.
right.
We're just trying to tell the truth here, right? I'm not trying to like go on an anti-immigrant. Like some of that stuff is ridiculous too. Where they blame them for all the crime, and you know the most of the crime is like 99% of people that come in here aren't committing any crimes at all. Like that stuff is ridiculous, right?
I love you.
No, that stuff is, but there are still problems with mass migration at the scale that occurred under Biden. But it doesn't mean that you're blaming immigrants for the problems that we have. That's stupid. But what I was saying though is that like you could in a situation like in states like California, for instance, you could very easily use undocumented immigrants, just like they're using the homeless to harvest votes and cheat the integrity of our elections.
Okay,
I think that is like a concern that should be talked about.
Let's talk about that. Because that's the area. Like when it comes to news, I have sources, right? And I pride myself in having great sources because I'm a good person, a good friend, and I can get some information. But when it comes to elections, I am the source, right? Like that's the one thing that I'm an expert on, that I've gone to all these things. I've been doing it for quite some time. I debated Destiny in fucking Austin when I met you on elections. You saw, tore him up pretty badly.
Well, he's the easy guy to get tore up though. He's not, he's
he can hold his own sometimes. When he had that debate against Owen Schroyer, I thought he got some really good shots in on Owen. I came out of that whole thing unscathed, untouched.
But Owen Schroyer is also kind of losing the plot a little bit too.
Yeah.
Even though I love the guy, but you could tell like there are certain people that have just been like beaten down so much by the political system that it's just starting to take a toll, and it seems like that might be.
I think that he is, when it comes, and I don't want to get too far off because we have a good crowd with us, guys. We have Alex Strenger here today, good friend of mine. We're talking a lot of things. If you want to call in, 561-247-2721. All the links down below to help the show are great. I think that Owen just is also a cultist and a tribalist, and he goes along with a bunch of bullshit just to fucking, appease his viewership. You know what I'm saying? Where they're at now today with all their bullshit is stuff we have been talking about years ago. And that's kind of weird to see a bunch of kind of like right-wing media personalities getting a lot of like praise for this. And they're doing it in a very anti-Semitic way, but that's beside the point. That's another problem. We'll get there. Let's stay here in election. Okay. And it wasn't really so much. I don't think Nick Shirley's video was when he went over and did some stuff. First of all, he's talking about things that have been going on for quite some time. And just because they do exist, areas of opportunities for fraud, doesn't mean that's where the fraud takes place. The system itself is built for fraud elections, right? Like we have a really fucked up election system where we don't have a nationalist system on one day. Ballot harvesting is legal in 27 states, which is ridiculous. There are states like California that control the state. Most of your states control all the voters list, the rolls itself. But in California, they have ridiculous rules like everybody who's on the voter rolls has to get a mail-in ballot. So there's all these ballots everywhere. Like I've been saying in a lot of these states now, you don't need an illegal immigrant. You don't need a person. You just need a ballot to flip an election, right? And that's what happened in the 2020 election. It was something that Bill Benny, who is a old school, I think he was CIA analyst for a while. He did a lot of work on the DNC lawsuit. NSA. Bill Benny is NSA. He did a lot of work when it came
He made the precursor to the systems that Snowden came out about.
Yes.
That's Bill Benny.
And he also talked a lot about elections. He also did a lot of work when it came to CrowdStrike and the Russian hoax, right? When they were trying to say that Russia was stealing our elections, and he was showing everything. So Bill Benny, he coined a phrase, which is kind of cool when you have these outsiders coin a phrase. It's called clustering. you don't need a person to swing an election now. You just need a ballot. And if ballot harvest is legal, the person whose name is, whose original ballot that is supposed to be, never even needs to touch that ballot to get it into a system, right? So when you talk about all these mail-in ballots, you can't confirm who filled them out. It could be one individual filling out thousands of ballots. It could be a computer filling out thousands of ballots.
Or it could be a team and an operation of people that are filling ballots out and writing names and doing it so the signatures don't match. Yeah, like there's no way to prove that. It makes no sense why that's a thing, right?
Yes. So when Nick Shirley and James O'Keefe, in particular, who did a decent video on it, are going to show these homeless people that are getting signed up and whatnot, yes, that exists. But this whole game has become, at best, right? Because I think it's all about the establishment working together, Republican, Democrat, choosing the people that they want to have in there. Like the rule is, you can win in this section, I can win in this section, but the third party never wins. We make sure we control it, and it's our fucking group of people, our establishment-friendly people. I know there's a lot of people who want to point to just Israel alone, but I was like showing the Thomas Massey election, who owned the software, who had a stake in the ballot company, and it happened to be this guy who was one of the managers over at Blackstone, right? So it's kind of like, it could be a multitude of people. And I understand that, like, people are kind of, everything is being blamed on Israel nowadays. And that is just driving me fucking crazy because they're walking hand in hand with the Western Empire. Their accomplices, everything they do, I think they do together in conjunction, in harmony. Okay. So the election system, that is possible. But what proof does anybody have that the illegal immigrant, and now, first of all, there is a ballot, and this is the way the illegal immigrant or the undocumented worker out there, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if I've offended anybody, call them both ways, when they come to the United States, when they come to LA, when they come to Vegas, they are still pushed to go get a driver's license, right? To be on the streets, to be legal, have ID, that kind of thing. Most of these states, especially like Las Vegas and Los Angeles, when you go get a license or you renew the license, you are then automatically registered to vote. So they create a ballot. That immigrant never even touches that ballot, right? He might put down a friend's address to get his license. They'll return to sender.
But the fact that you're getting registered to vote by getting a license, that does create room for ballot harvesting.
But they don't even tell the person that stuff.
I know, but I know that. I'm not saying the illegal is voting. What I'm saying though is that somebody could now use that information and vote for that person, which is a problem.
Yes. But here's the issue. The problem is the right is blaming the majority of the right out there. And I'm sorry to use these terms, but those people out there, you watch Fox News, Newsmax, they're blaming the immigrant themselves, not the people exploiting the immigrant for the ballot. In other words, the people who know the system and exploiting the system are the ones that need to be looked upon. You don't go after the immigrant for the problem. You go after the system that's the problem, and you fix the system.
Right, but yes, but Pasta, the mass migration that was happening under Biden, which were like invasion level numbers, is helping to perpetuate, build, and enhance that system as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, well, first of all, let me just say that. Hold on to that thought. The mass migration system under Biden. Okay, it was fuel was thrown on with Biden, but immigration's been going on in this country for years.
I never had a problem with it, but okay.
Let me finish. I'll give you time. I'll get you back. Our foreign policy is what's fueling the mass migration here, and that's something that the right completely ignores. We have 1,000 bases outside the United States. We have over 100 bases in Latin America. We pick their leaders. We tell them what to do. We destabilize their country, and when they show up on our doorstep, we complain. So I just want to point that out right away because that's never acknowledged. You can't fix the problem at the border because they don't start at the border. They start with our foreign policy and the CIA running through Latin America. But even still, we don't know if it's just the immigrant with that ballot. If we eliminate that system, there's no chain of custody with the ballot companies. Whoever signs the contract and hires the ballot company, they can just print off a bunch of ballots, Alex, for Bozo, the clown, whatever. They can make up whatever ballots and get them in there. So even if you fix the immigration problem, there's still holes in the system that allow them to cheat. And that's only one avenue of
I actually am not. There's no argument. I agree. I agree with you fully. I do think though that what happened, like, and I never had a problem with immigration at all, right? And I still don't have a problem with immigration. I've never blamed immigrants for crime. I've never blamed immigrants for any of this stuff. I just think that the way immigrants are used, and we agree with each other, the way immigrants and migration is used is only being used as a tool to benefit those in power, benefit the establishment. And it's also a really good way, like the more undocumented migrants that come into America, and when 20 million people come into our country within a 4-year period, you need a lot more social services to help accommodate them. I mean, that's just a fact. And it's really, and a lot of these social services and NGOs are a great way to launder money and commit, like, for lack of a better word, financial fraud. And when you have that many people that are coming in here who supposedly need these services, it's a lot easier to do all that.
Yeah. Okay. Can I respond?
Yeah.
Okay. So number one, you're gonna have to go get sources on that number, because that number is like the fish that got away. That story. It started off with 5 billion, 10 million, 20 million, 15 million. Okay, because it keeps growing. And
we can go. Do you have any? What? Hold on a second. We can pull the numbers up right now if you want. Do you have the ability to?
You can look for the numbers while I'm talking, but definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So that being said, and there's something that you pointed out too as well that was really good, because there's a lot of data to back behind it, is that the majority of the immigrants that come in don't commit the crimes that are here. Like the immigrants, legal and illegal, commit like far less crime than American citizens per capita. That number is ridiculous. The majority of people who are coming here are workers. So I will say that much. Now, we don't know the number of people coming in, but they're still fucking human beings. And this country was built on, immigrants coming in. I mean, everybody's an immigrant. We were never here at one point, right? Like, we wiped out a whole fucking class of Indians so we can fucking colonize and take this land.
Hey,
now,
how did we wipe out the Indians?
Well, what I'm trying to say is I don't want to get harping on that.
I know, but everyone says, "Oh, we just wiped out a bunch of Indians." But I do think that there were certain things that are a little more complicated, like just to get sidetracked. The Vikings in like the 1100s tried to invade North America for centuries and kept failing because the natives just kept demolishing them in battle. And a big reason why the Europeans were able to settle in America and push the natives out were because we were bringing in diseases that they weren't used to. And so a big reason why a lot of them got eradicated was through diseases and not through necessarily physical.
Well, a lot of it was killing all the bison.
And,
yeah.
I mean, come on, these other things did exist. I mean,
no, it existed, but I'm saying that there were other factors that just never get talked about at all in conjunction, right? Like yeah. When you kill off a population with disease and you kill their food source, and you're able to manipulate and when other tribes were warring with each other and we're exploiting the warring tribes through fake diplomacy, that was more so what happened than just using brute force to just remove another people. Like there was a whole lesson on this, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't want to get too sidetracked.
Anyway, next topic.
Modern day immigration, the driving force behind it is foreign policy. It's stories of an economic hitman, right? This is about resource extraction. Bananas in Guatemala, the majority of them are not owned by a Guatemalan farmer. They're owned by Chiquita and Dole, which was once the UFC, the United Fruit Company. And the CIA, at the order of the Dulles brothers, went down there and removed those socialist, secular leaders that were enriching their people, nationalizing their resources, to take it away from them so that Western corporations could happen, and then they migrated to our border. That's what happened. It's been happening then. It's happening now. During the Biden administration, was there fuel thrown on the fire for more funding, for more, fraudulent activities to take place, to launder money, right? I mean, in New York, I think that they were charging, like, the hotel rooms were putting like 5 to 6 immigrants in a 1-bedroom room, right? Like literally doing shit like that with cots, but then charging the state like $600 a night for the room. So there was this whole fraudulent thing taking place. It definitely did increase, but the issues that we see, more social services, yada, yada, we don't know any of that stuff, right? They're here. The majority of people here are workers. They're laborers. And if we don't want them to come here, we need to get out of their country. But that's the problem with everything. I've always said this from the get-go, and this is why I still consider myself a leftist, is because I'm anti-imperialism first. I'm an anti-imperialist, and that's the most important thing, because everything evil stems from empire. Everything they do to us here at home, they try out there. They push color revolutions, resource extraction. They want to throw the monetary system on there. So at the end of the day, we are responsible. The main responsibility for so many immigrants showing up on our doorstep might not be the everyday American citizen that feels like they're getting robbed, which they really are not. You know what I'm saying? And we have bigger problems that are issues. It's not the fact that we have so many immigrants here. It's that we have no workforce. We have no economy. We don't make anything anymore. We don't fix anything anymore. We're fucking like we're spinning our wheels over here like what the fuck to do, and then we're blaming immigrants as if we did pick them up and deport them tomorrow. First of all, a head of lettuce will be $6 an hour. I mean, people just don't want to admit they do a lot of the jobs that we don't want to do. And second of all,
hold on, wait. Actually, I think that at this point in time, machines are going to be able to do a lot of the stuff that people are going to say that immigrants do. Like we're getting to the point where a lot of the stuff is just going to be done by machinery anyway. I think that what the real problem though is that you kind of like obviously imperialism sucks and all this other stuff, and we should make more things in America, and we shouldn't have all these bases, and there's no argument. But we also have the dollar. Like this, sadly, also comes with the dollar being the number one reserve currency, and the trade-off for the dollar being the reserve currency is that we wind up having to be the police force for the rest of the entire world. And the moment that we pull out and say we no longer want to involve ourselves, well, then all of a sudden now these countries are going to stop buying they're going to stop buying our bonds. They're going to stop buying our T-bills. They're going to divest money out of the U.S. stock market. A lot of boomers who have their net worth in the stock market are going to lose a whole ton of money. You'll create you'll create economic upheaval. What's going to happen then is the politicians that run every 2 years are not going to get reelected, and ultimately these people care more. The thing that these people care about the most is getting reelected. And so I just think that you're right, but under our current fiat monetary system, there's really no way for us to do much of anything about it, because if we do, it's just going to create a whole new set of problems in America, and we have the attention span of goldfish, and we're never going to. The politicians that are in charge are not going to want to deal with the blowback.
Well, first of all, I don't care about.
All right, we got a caller.
In charge. Sure. We got a call. All right, listen, we'll get back to this. I don't care.
I don't either, but I'm just telling you, this is just what it is. This is probably
but that's kind of a defeatist black pill attitude that we got to continue to bomb people because it keeps the
stock not at all. That's crazy. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that if you use a different form of money, like if we started using Bitcoin, operating on a Bitcoin standard and sending money peer to peer through Bitcoin instead of using
let's hold
the petrodollar, then you can fix that.
Let's hold on. We got a caller. We got to get to the caller on the show. Caller, you're on with Alex and Pasta here at Drive Time in the Morning. Where are you calling from, and who are you?
Well, I used to be a NASA guy, but now I'm just Dave from Melbourne.
Dave from Melbourne. You heard us talking about you. You know who I'm getting on the show for you? I'm going to call him and reach out. I got to reach out to T. Snyder for you and get Tease on the show. Wouldn't Tease be a good guest for him, Sleepy? Sleepy there?
I don't know who that is.
I'm not.
Never mind. All right, Dave. What do you got? I got Alex Treasure on. Alex, get ready. This is Dave from Melbourne. I don't know
What's
what
up, Dave from Melbourne. What are we talking about?
Let's see.
So, speaking of the technology, I've been researching AI hallucination syndrome, where these AIs get implemented, and then, like with Google and Grok, their ethical protocols get rewritten. And next thing you know, they're, belting out false information at a percentage. And these are percentages you can look up. Now, if we apply these technologies to companies that are about to go full AI robotic, like, say, Hungry Howie's and, some of these Asian food places with auto walks, as they're known, you apply this 4.3% error or 10% error to foodborne illnesses and things. And all of a sudden, you've got a major problem that's, too late to fix because you've already fired all your employees. So automation isn't the way. It's just the way they want to go. We will never have that Jetsons type society as long as we keep bombing each other and using scalar weapons on the planet, because, you know, we're destroying the planet. But that's kind of where we are right now between tech and living things. You know, we're in that transhumanist, like chrysalis stage, and it's getting ugly and people are taking notice.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy, Dave? And correct me if I'm wrong, and we'll let Alex jump in whenever he's ready. So you said that Jetsons mentality, and Alex talked about a lot of machinery replacing people. I'm like, it's not going to work. People don't realize that the AI that's coming along is not going to replace the actual physical labor that's taking place in warehouses, in fields, and whatnot. Instead, it's replacing journalists, musicians. Right? Like it's replacing the intellectual jobs that could just kind of put something together and spit out an article. Why would I have to pay a bunch of journalists when I can just put something, you know what I'm saying, into a computer? Lawyers are using the software now. All these things are taking place that I think that a lot of people are just caught off guard, because it's not replacing the guy who's picking fruit or working at Amazon as much. And even in these restaurants, like Dave just said, and I've said this before, you got to fucking hire somebody to fix the machines when the machines fucking go down. It's going to make no sense.
Well, eventually, though, we are going to move towards humanoid robots, and you are going to build those.
When? Not anytime fucking soon. They ain't working at Burger King.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying though is that sorry, I got a little distracted, but
it's okay.
It's probably going to be, I'd say, probably within a 10-year period, you're going to see it. I'd say realistically within a 10-year period. But anyway, the point is, though, the process of building the humanoid robots is still going to create jobs and workers and laborers to build out a lot of the technology for the infrastructure as well.
Why can't they just make computers to build computers, or humanoids to build more humanoids? But that's going to eventually happen, right?
You think so? I mean, maybe.
Of course. If they're going to be used to build things, they're going to be used to build themselves. There's no economy when it comes to this bullshit.
I'm saying temporarily, we're talking like 10 in 5 or 10 years. I'm not talking like 20, 30, 40 years ahead, right? But people have always said, people have also always said, like, people also have always like doomer posted and said a lot of black pill stuff about new technology, since technology's been a thing, right? Like during industrialization, people said a lot of crazy stuff about industrialization. People said stuff when electricity was invented. Like there have always been credible fears and concerns over new technology, and then we wound up being okay. So that's my optimistic view on this.
It's just and let's let Dave jump in there. Dave, if you have anything to say. But to me, what's really upsetting and disappointing right now, and I said this before, right? Once again, independent thinkers, yes, but this whole, I peek at mainstream media, I peek at what's going on. This whole right-wing fucking thing was a total bullshit and fucking grift. And they were able to fucking fool the populist people out there by making believe that Donald Trump was an outsider, after we got fooled by the fucking Obama being an outsider. The right wing complaining about immigrants and being tough on crime has allowed this country to get fucking flocked. We got flock cameras everywhere, and this is how the AI is being used. It's not being used to benefit and help society. It's being used to spy and surveil on society, because these fucking psychos are more scared about us than they are about anybody else. The greatest threat to the empire is its own citizens. And once we understand everything they're doing, from their geoengineering and their sun dimming products, and they're still using kids as currency, and get our shit together, we'll stop blaming the woke leftist or the fucking immigrant, and vice versa. Stop blaming the fascist or the racist, and start looking the fuck up and making sure that they get held accountable. Dave, jump in.
Okay, so first let me say, Alex, I really appreciate your optimism, and I respect it. I used to have that same optimism, but we are not okay. Okay, there is nothing that's okay right now. That world you're talking about is already here, but look at where it's being implemented. Whitney Cummings, lifelike sex robots, child sex robots, cryogenics, life extension, DARPA transhumanism. We're already where you're saying we're going to be in 5 to 6 years, but look at how it's being used. We could use these technologies to heal the planet, okay? If you go back to 1905, Wilhelm Reich created cloud bursting, but he also created orgone energy, which cured people of their cancers. So while we could create waves right now that cure every case of cancer across the planet, wave after wave, no, what do we do with these waves? We use HARP, we do sun dimming technologies. We cymatically melted a few places, like states, you know. We're doing all the things that are so extreme that even states like Kentucky, Louisiana, and countries like Mexico are banning these geoengineering systems. So the world of the future is now, but they're using it to create sex robots, to create child sex robots, to do all the worst things they could possibly do with it. Because there's always going to be that one weird sicko, no matter what you do, no matter how long you breed, there's always going to be that one weird sicko that says, ooh, my robot maid might be fuckable. You know, you cannot remove that degeneration from the human mind, okay? And that's why AI is completely flawed. That's why we have AI hallucinations. That's why we have AIs lying to people. That's why Google's YouTube algorithm is constantly erroring in the weirdest ways. You know, I appreciate the Jetsons image of the future, but you have to realize those were Hasbara cartoons, okay? Hasbara cartoons. I love the gummy bears. I love the Snurfs. I love the Thundercats. Do we really want those things alive in the age where they're making humanoid chimeras? No, we do not.
No, but look, do you guys not use AI to like research for your show?
Not by
I have never touched AI. I don't fuck with AI.
Really? Okay.
I use AI. I do look, and I get that what's
like,
coming is
okay. So I get all that stuff, right? Like what Dave was saying. There's no, you can't really argue with that, right? Or you know, at 7 a.m, there's the energy to argue is not really there right now because I'm not a morning person. But there are benefits to there are everyday benefits to using AI, right? And it's that like you could theoretically, you know, you could, instead of reading a 200-page government document about weather modification or about JFK assassination, which is a lot more than 200 pages, obviously, or stuff at the Epstein files, you can copy and paste this and plug it into multiple LLMs and get a very good, solid understanding of, you know, of really important things in very important government documents. And you don't have to use like Grok or Google or anything. There are a lot of decentralized AIs that you can use that are not going to steal or compromise your information. You can go on Proton. You could use Lumo. They're independently operated out of Switzerland. It's the most neutral country there is. There's a service I use called Maple AI, where I have a lot of friends in common with the person who created it. You don't even need to give your personal information to be able to pay for a subscription using those AIs. So there are AIs where you can use AI, acquire a plethora of knowledge, and while your privacy does not really get compromised at all. And also when it comes to the wealth inequality in the stock market, you could use AI to invest your way out of poverty. I think very easily. Like you can literally look at a company's like 10Q financial statements every quarter and understand how that company operates better than most financial analysts on Wall Street. And all it takes you is 30 minutes to type a command in. So there are definitely positives. There are definitely positive functions of AI that regular people can use. And I think that stuff just needs to, and they're very simple and basic. And I think that stuff just needs to be talked about more.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the gun argument, right? Like guns, it's about the person using it, how they use it, which really kind of like, because so many people want to go, oh, we got to get rid of guns because this one guy shot up a fucking school, or multiple guys, whatever the case may be, right? But it once again, it's about the user of the gun. Same thing with AI. Like AI could be used for good, Dave. Can it not? I mean, just because they're using it in a negative way, does that mean we got to get rid of it? Or what do we do to curtail the situation so that it's used in a positive way, Dave?
Okay, so here's okay, let me give you an analogy based on real life. My uncle, Mike, he did 2 tours in Camp Corps for Vietnam to serve his country. I come from a military background. Now, it got to the point with Uncle Mike where when he was driving around, he'd see a bag in the road and drive us into a ditch because he thought it was a fucking IED. Now, there was nothing wrong with Mike before Vietnam, but what was done to Mike in Vietnam caused a situation where we couldn't let him drive anymore unless we all wanted to potentially die every time. That's where we're at with technology, okay? And it's the same people doing the same types of mental poison. So hopefully that one helps hit home. Now, I'm not saying dispense with the technology. Exactly the opposite. We should just be taking the keys from the people who are functioning as gate guardians. We know these people are people like Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, who gives TED Talks about transhumanism, Don Huffins, who isn't being questioned, despite the fact he has a genetic cell editing company and took over Zorro Ranch, where they've admitted eugenics and transhumanism and cloning were actually ongoing. You know, these are things that are happening.
But Don Huffins, he's like a big MAGA patriot, is he not?
No, Don Huffins, look him up. He has a secret to me program.
I am messing with you. Like, I'm totally fucking with you. I know.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Yeah, you got that dry, sardonic sarcasm, and I'm kind of immune to it. Sorry, bud. But yeah, no, we need to look at these people closely, because every time I look, I find monsters in the closet, and I don't like the fact that we have monsters in our world, but at the same time, I'm not going to ignore the truth just because it makes my life a little easier. Now, for me, I'm a former government contractor, and I now cook professionally. So the concept of having AI chefs and robotic chefs making food is terrifying. I know how flawed humans are already, and the machines only create more errors and more holes and more spaces for quote unquote ghosts to get within the shell. But we have to take back the means of production, whether it be locally government, where we have a system where now red states are subsidizing Israeli weirdness, while blue states subsidize those red states through basically communistic socialism, because those red states can't survive on their own.
Wait,
or see these people arguing.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, most red states are supplemented. Yeah, most red states right now, like Florida and Texas, are supplemented by the excess taxes taken from blue states. And then now Texas and Florida have executive orders that finance high-risk Israeli bonds on gubernatorial signage with no taxation with representation. So we have this Ponzi system now.
How do you feel about Bitcoin? How do you feel about Bitcoin?
Dave, did we lose you?
All I heard was, how do you feel about this one?
I know. How do you feel about
Bitcoin? How do you feel about Bitcoin?
So they don't call it cryptocurrency because it doesn't poll well. But if you look at the people running these crypto markets, like Bitcoin, Polymarket, things like that, these are all Ponzi schemes.
Okay, wait, stop. Hold on. Who runs Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, okay, so Bitcoin is at least 50% run by BlackRock, Leon Black, right? Right now, he took over like 50% of the stock of Bitcoin already. What you were saying earlier.
Wait. Bitcoin is money. It doesn't have a stock. There's a finite number of coins that get produced over a 140-year period. Are you saying that Leon that BlackRock
He's saying that
owns
it's manipulated?
Right. Yes. But yeah. It's being manipulated by financial firms, and they are manipulating the price, just like you manipulate the price of gold.
Is that what you're saying, Dave?
I mean, the articles I was reading show Leon Black was bragging that BlackRock company and some of these other companies were, over 50% invested in the majority of Bitcoin shares.
So do they?
Unless that information is inaccurate.
That sounds okay. Do they own over 50% of the Bitcoin in circulation, or is over 50% of their operating budget being invested towards Bitcoin?
I think it was that they own more than 50% of Bitcoin operation. I don't mind being wrong, but I know Leon Black and BlackRock itself were bragging that they own all these houses, they have majority control of Bitcoin, and these people do this. They brag about the illegal things they're doing. Now, what you were saying about investing, okay, let's just focus on that for a second, because we had the GameStop event where a bunch of people got together, a bunch of nerds, and they just overinvested in GameStop, and they blew it up. Okay, so we can already do that. Just get a bunch of people together and invest in low-level stocks for companies you want to support. You could start a company yourself and, do that same Ponzi system, because that's how our system works.
No,
if Wall Street wasn't a Ponzi, it would fall down. Sure.
But this is a little different because a lot of people, we're going to go back to Bitcoin too, because it feels like you might not fully know what you're talking about when it comes to this topic. But when it came to the GameStop and when it came to Reddit and when it came to Wall Street Bets, a bunch of retail traders hit it really big on one company where they discovered a whole bunch of highly leveraged shorts that hedge funds and corporations are doing, and they took advantage of it and they sent the stock to the moon. And then Robinhood and a bunch of these centralized trading platforms.
Yeah.
A lot
they
of those
turned off the fucking mechanism in which you could fucking buy and sell it.
Yeah, they basically turned it off, right?
Yeah.
Bitcoin doesn't do that, right? Like there are certain exchanges that'll turn off, like Coinbase and whatnot, or maybe Cash App will turn off, or maybe some of these things will turn off if like they're being overly crowded or overly flooded. But no matter what happens, I can still send you a transaction no matter what, unless you get like some kind of EMP attack or some absolute catastrophe where nobody can send anything. And we haven't even gotten there yet. Bitcoin doesn't turn off. So like, regardless of what happens, right?
Dollar?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's still
manipulated by American markets.
So what? But it's still one. You know how much one Bitcoin is, Pasta?
56,000.
No, one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin.
Yeah.
One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, okay? Like, that's what it is. It is one Bitcoin. And just because it's being priced in dollars right now doesn't mean that it still isn't a better form of money that can separate us from the imperialism that you're rightfully upset about and have made a career addressing. And using a better...
made for 40 years.
I'm going to let Dave jump
about petrodollars, and look at where the petrodollar is. You know, you're making the same argument that the U.S. tries to make on behalf of the petrodollar to justify the petrodollar. And, what happens when the power goes out?
Bitcoin separates us from the petrodollar. You don't need. What I'm saying is that you do not need to have a petrodollar if Bitcoin becomes a primary mode of transaction, and even if you still rely, and even if these other countries still want to fully go down this fiat rabbit hole or fiat Ponzi scheme, the more Bitcoin that you own, the more that you can immunize yourself from this, and the easier it is for you to opt out. So despite the problems that everyone else is having because they can't do a simple basic thing like use a better currency, well, guess what? These problems no longer have to be your problem.
Okay, so in that situation where an EMP goes off, where do you plug in your USB? Into the back of your neck? There's a major flaw in the logic here.
All right, so then if we're going to base everything regardless, like if we're going to base everything on an EMP going off, then the only thing that should matter is how many guns you have, whether or not you're growing your own food, whether or not you're able to kill your own food, and whether or not you have a close sense of community around you. And you should be getting out of these big cities, moving into small towns, and going into the places where a lot of these concerns, like a lot of these AI surveillance concerns, like there's no flock cameras in Johnson City, Texas, right? There's no flock cameras in Fredericksburg. There's no flock cameras in the middle of the Texas Hill Country, right? That's not in Austin. Austin even disbanded their contract. Like if these are actual concerns, like what are we even doing on the show? Just go learn how to hunt deer and learn how to learn how to farm and start training as much as possible because that's the only thing that has relevance.
Let me jump in. I think what you're saying, and I can appreciate this, is you're saying that, you know, despite the negative things, it's still a tool. Bitcoin is a tool. It has a certain set of rules, whatnot. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. It's got a formula where certain amounts of Bitcoins are created until it's topped off, and that's it. It's a structured system. What Dave is saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, is that these systems can be manipulated no matter what, and since they are pegged to the American dollar, and it takes dollars to buy Bitcoin, like right?
No, you can buy Bitcoin.
You're talking about it's a tool, but this is hold on 1 second. It's a tool, but it's a tool that a bunch of people can't access because they don't have the extra money to access it. It's just like
that's
the argument.
Also bullshit too, though, because if you go to Africa or you go to certain parts of Latin America, like the Bitcoin adoption is actually more prevalent in poorer countries because more merchants will just accept Bitcoin for transactions.
Bitcoin is not accepted everywhere in all these other countries.
No,
right now. It's very limited.
Look this up. We can look this up.
I go to Latin America. You can't get fucking Bitcoin
in El Salvador. But I'm saying no, merchants can't buy. In Africa, in like Nigeria, for instance, a lot of stores and a lot of merchants will accept Bitcoin at stores. Like you can go to a bunch of places. But you still can. It's the only reason it's limited is because they choose not to create a wallet and do it. But anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You can still do it if you want to. The fact that people aren't doing it is because it's their choice.
No, you can't buy most things in Bitcoin. You need to convert it to a currency. That's the way the majority of things are going right now, wherever you're at.
But you still are able to. Just because the reason that you can't is because merchants and stores haven't really implemented that feature yet. But you can. If I wanted to, I can accept Bitcoin for a pedicab ride and make that transaction seamlessly. I could go to a farmer's market.
I know. I love that.
And buy eggs in Bitcoin. Like, you still can do it. The reason that it's not happening is because people are choosing not to do it.
Well, and why are people choosing not to? Because they don't have the money to modernize.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it's the simplest thing. All you have to do is literally, all you have to do is literally
hold on, Alex.
What are you talking?
Alex, we don't want to be talking over each other. I'm going to give him a chance. David, say what you said again so the audience can hear you clearly, and then you can respond, Alex. So,
anyone that can modernize and wants to has. The people that haven't are the ones who don't want to. So what you're discussing is removing consent for mom and pop businesses that don't want to or don't have the money to. Okay?
I never said that. What are you talking about? I never said that.
Hold on,
let him go. Hold on.
I never said that.
Okay.
No.
And so, no. What you're saying right now, okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, is people aren't doing it because it's not happening because they haven't done it. Well, why haven't they done it? Because either they don't have the capital to modernize when they want to, or they do not want to. They want to keep it local, like a mom and pop shop, without bringing in a bunch of robots and AI automation. You cannot remove people's consent and not expect pushback. Okay, only Sith think in absolutes, bro, and that's why the modern age, the transhumanist age, is getting so much pushback, because it's not the technology, it's the people using it. For example, Polymarket uses Bitcoin because the Trump sons are heavily invested, and they use it to not only manipulate markets, but to sell war, to literally sell war.
Polymarket uses a whole bunch of other scam cryptocurrencies that are not Bitcoin as well. So that's a very poor analogy. When it comes to accepting Bitcoin, all you need to do is go on your phone, right, and generate a blue wallet or a lightning wallet. Remember your seed phrase, get a QR code, and just now you have a way to accept Bitcoin payments. You could even, if you want to be a little bit more centralized and more public, you can just go on. You can accept Bitcoin through Cash App. You can accept Bitcoin on Square. Right now, the infrastructure is in play where it's very easy for any mom and pop to accept this as another form of currency. And you know what? If you're getting paid in a stronger currency, guess what? You're actually going to perform better, and you're going to be more likely to succeed than if you're accepting money in a currency that depreciates by 5% every year, give or take.
Okay, wait a second.
So that actually does help local businesses when they're accepting money in a better currency.
How much is Bitcoin worth today? How much is Bitcoin worth today?
How much is it? What is it? 63K or something?
Okay, it's at 63K. It was like 110K less than a year ago.
Great. So then it's a great time to accept. That is. It's a long-term savings vehicle. If you're not, look, it's a long-term savings vehicle. In 2022, it was $15,000. So if you were buying in 2022, you'd be doing a lot better than if you had. Right? So like in 2020, I know in 2020, okay.
Stacked. That's what I'm saying.
You know what?
That got stacked.
Cool. Then keep buying. All the way down. You dollar cost average. This is a long-term investment strategy. It's a long-term strategy, and it's a long-term saving strategy. And when the price gets back up to 120K, when it goes into the 200s, when it goes into the $300,000, $400,000 range, when it hits $1 million, it's not going to matter whether or not you bought it at $100,000 or if you bought it at $60,000. If anything, now is probably a great time to start accumulating if you haven't already done so.
But the thing is, Alex, is there's no extra finances. People don't have the lucrative cash to do that. They're living month to month. So if they can't implement a system right now that helps people out month to month, and the majority of people can't buy into that system is going to be for one class only, the elite class. Hold on. I want to give Dave the last 60 seconds because we probably have another caller on hold. This is an intriguing conversation. This is why they have the show. I didn't know you were that much hardcore of a crypto, bro, but I love it. David, I'm going to give you David. Dave, my friend, I'm going to give you the last 60 seconds, and then we'll let our good friend Alex Schrenger reply. If you want to continue this conversation about that, or if you had some final things to say, the floor is yours, Maestro. Please go.
Thank you, sir. So let's go back to COVID, because I agree with what you just said, Pasta. During COVID, I was in Breckenridge, Colorado, which at that time had like 101 mom and pop shop restaurants. And the COVID protocols that were implemented were very costly, very demanding to everyone there, especially since we were in a high elevation environment at 10,000 feet where the air is already thinner. And 2/3 of the restaurants in that town shut down within months, including the one I was working at, including the one that I then opened. And we all lost everything. And the only restaurants that survived in that town were the elite class, people who had 66 to 85 different investors invested in their restaurants, and most of them were interconnected. So the elite class got to survive while all the mom and pop shop, all the people that had built those businesses up from nowhere in a very hard town named Breckenridge, which is a $66 billion a year town, by the way, for Vail Resorts, they all went under. Okay, and that's exactly what you're advocating. So you have to, when you look at the world, you have to account for the person in the tribe who doesn't want to go technological. Okay, are the Dogon tribes going to get Bitcoin? Hell no, they're not. Okay, and they're going to get left behind for that? No, that's not human. That's transhuman. That's elitist. And the American people have developed a very vile response to that at this point. That's Epstein class. Epstein was a transhumanist. What you said, Alex, about Texas not having flock cameras, sure, but they have nanotech. They have modified robot birds that are CIA patented.
Wait, where are the modified robot birds? I want to learn about this.
Okay, so robot birds, look the patents up for robot spy birds. We've been using like pigeon surveillance drones for decades now. The CIA has patented robot insects, robot spy birds. No matter where you go, once you apply the technology, it's going to be applied in a weird way.
Can you
let him finish? Let him finish.
I want you to link this. I want you to link the patent for robot spy birds in the chat because I'm actually genuinely curious about this. I also want to know, like, how do I spot, like, as an objective observer, how do I spot a robot spy bird and differentiate whether this is a regular bird or a robot spy bird collecting data?
What is his point on let him finish making his point though about, okay, there's no flock cameras in some of these places, but there are other ways that the state can surveil us, right? Let him finish his statement and then go back to answering his questions. We'll let him stay on for a little bit more time.
Okay, so I just found a great article in Popular Mechanics about how they not only have robot spy birds, but they're also turning dead birds into robot drones. We have a situation that if I was to go into the extensive details about transhumanist projects like graphene machines and stuff, we'd be here all day. I do that too much. What you should do, Alex, is look at the Transhumanist Political Party and its values page to see their agenda in play, because it's a lot easier to reverse engineer an equation once you have the summary part. So like x squared plus 1x plus 2 equals 0 is what you get when you look at like the transhumanist page and you see the end game, which is to biomodify all life. Now, there's a lot of crazy sci-fi shit I could explain to you from 2016, like humanoid chimeras. But we already know about.
I know about the humanoid chimeras, right? Like that's been going on forever. It's like you splice, like you have a human being and who's like part squid, and then now you no longer have white rights because you're a squid and not a human. Like that I kind of understand.
Yeah, but there are also chimeras that have been created by science in addition to regular mutation. So my point is, once you open Pandora's box, once you let the genie out of the lamp, it needs you to make wishes, and it's going to make those wishes come true because that's just its job. That is AI, okay? So pushing a techno state while ignoring the little guy that's getting squashed by said techno state is how we got to the point where we don't have workers for the means of production, okay? It's kind of like how Trump pushed out all the immigrants in 2016 and we had no one to pick the fruit. So most of those fruit farms ended up getting bought by Gates for pennies on the dollar. We saw the same thing during
right,
COVID.
right, but
when
accepting
they
money
burned
in a
all the
stronger
livestock.
right, but accepting money in a strong but accepting money in a stronger currency doesn't really do anything. That doesn't really do that, and if anything, it allows the smaller businesses, the smaller companies to stay afloat and prevent them from getting bought out by the Bill Gates type firms. So that's what I'm saying regarding that. So I agree with all that. Like, the thing isn't wrong, but like accepting money in a stronger currency protects regular people from that fate.
We've had Bitcoin for over a decade. Are people protected? No, they're not.
No,
even when they have the money to invest.
You know why? Because people like you have been saying bullshit about this constantly and scaring people off from actually putting money into a better, stronger currency.
I don't think we could put the failures of Bitcoin and its volatility.
Man, I don't have a pot to piss in, dude. I can't afford no Bitcoin. I can't hardly afford to eat.
Oh, whatever though. You don't. Nobody can save any money. That all you did this. You killed it.
Economic downturn.
Yes.
Gabe, you son of a bitch! You killed Kit. Listen, we can have this thing going on and on. Alex, I didn't know you were going to be this defensive about Bitcoin.
I'm not defensive. I'm just saying, like, if you know, there are ways. Like, it's easy to be a doomer and it's easy to like complain about a lot of things, and the complaints are justified. But like, if we're not thinking about like, okay, well, what can I do to fix this? Like, oh, I don't like mass surveillance. Like, maybe I shouldn't be tweeting about mass surveillance on a Windows computer or on my iPhone using a centralized platform like X. Maybe I can use a Nostr. Maybe I can like have a Tails. Maybe I can get a different operating system.
I get it.
You're privacy more. Like maybe we focus on that.
I love it. You're looking for solutions. Dave, thank you so much for calling in. This was an intriguing conversation. Did you have anything that you were dying to say to get off your shoulders before we let you go? Because I think this is a good place where maybe we could bring Alex and make him wake up next Monday again and have this conversation and continue it and talk a little bit more about
this was a good, passionate debate for sure. Yeah. So I want to point out the whole system. Okay. That's what it really comes down to as we move into the transhumanist age, which we're kind of already in. In 2016, Equifax got hacked. We were told it was the most solid system out there, and yet Equifax got hacked. Every U.S. user ID got leaked, and since we've had hack after hack after hack after hack after hack. Bitcoin relies on a house of cards system that's built on Google connections, YouTube, PayPal, all these things that we've seen go through the hands of known transhumanists like Elon
doesn't
Musk,
rely on
like
Google, YouTube, or PayPal, though. But it doesn't. That's just not
okay.
true. But okay,
so
continue.
Ultimately, Google has been hallucinating since 2023. Okay, and no matter what they do, even trying to replace it with Gemini, they can't get rid of it. And we see the active side effects in YouTube chats and Google logins. It's hack after hack after hack. So if you're going to trust the same people that told us Equifax was infallible and Google was perfect and AI is the wave of the future and you need 4,900 AI data centers to destroy our ecology, then your logic is flawed, and the American people are going to push back on that, which is exactly what you see happening right now. So if you're going to ignore the American people, then you're going to give them no recourse, but then to rise up by the techno state. Okay, this is an effect we've seen happen in banana republics. This is an effect we've seen happen in even Weimar Nazi Germany.
David,
the people will rise up.
Dave, I hear you, but listen, let me at least defend Alex in one way that I defend a lot of my libertarian friends. Even though I believe that what they're pointing to is wrong, I think that Alex is one of those people, like a lot of other Bitcoin advocates, that are trying to present a solution to the problems we have right now. And, I get what you're saying, and this is why we need to have these conversations. But I've heard Max Kellerman make a lot of these arguments too, as well, about how Bitcoin could be a way of defunding the empire, right? Of neutering it in some ways. So even though you might believe that Alex is wrong, I believe his intentions are right, and that's why he's here today, because I do believe
you can't
be very wrong on a lot of things, but
sure,
good
but you can't
look,
Pasta, you can't print more Bitcoin to fund a gender reassignment clinic in Afghanistan. You know, like you. So like just.
I don't
just
care
for,
about the.
I don't either. I'm making a fucking
Why do you
statement.
fuck up your argument? How about you can say
fine,
you can't print more Bitcoin to buy more bombs? That's what the majority of the fucking shit's going on.
Great. Okay.
Stop with your anti-woke bullshit.
Okay, fine. You can't print more Bitcoin to buy more bombs to bomb more third world countries. It's not physically possible. Okay,
gotcha.
Is that better? It's the same.
Yes,
thing.
It's more accurate.
Well, it's the same thing. You can't print more of it to fund this empire that is reliant upon printed money.
Which is the problem with the fiat list.
Yeah, and it's a good way to opt out.
One of the issues for COVID, David, right?
Hey, David, I have a question for you. I got a question for you.
We're gonna wrap it up with David.
What email? And you don't have to answer. It's fine. What's your email? What do you use to get? What server do you use to get your email?
I use Hotmail. I also have a Gmail account, even though I try not to use it because of the Google hacks. Because of two-step verification, I keep a few emails just to triangulate each other in case I get hacked again, because it's happened before. I've been exposing these weirdos for like over a decade.
So you're using like the most vulnerable. So with all this being said, you're still using like the most vulnerable systems to hacking when it comes to receiving basic emails. All right.
Yeah, but I also use VPNs and Tor routing. You know, I've been using Tor and IRC protocol for over a decade.
What about Proton? Do you use Proton?
I don't even what Proton mail.
Yeah,
Proton's got issues, man. Like they've got issues they've got issues of handing information over to the police without warrants. Proton sucks.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
they play ball with law enforcement.
That's what you're 100%. Ignoring. You know,
they play ball with law enforcement, but there are a lot. But there's no. But like nobody's there hasn't been any massive hacks when it comes to Proton. Like Proton still protects you from like hackers and all this other stuff.
No, but it's just open. It's just open PGP on the encryption backend. You can do that with any email. So
okay,
just putting that out there. The big problem with email is if you're not on one of these big companies' servers like Hotmail, Gmail, whatever, your shit gets black holed. Like your emails you send out, they literally get black holed by, like they'll like I have my own domains and stuff, and I've had to fight with like Hotmail, for instance, to unban my IP on my server for being able to send mail.
Wow.
So guys, it doesn't just mark it; it dumps it. It actually.
Let me jump in real quick though. I know this is a very intriguing conversation, but Dave, we're gonna have to say goodbye just in case there's another caller on the line. I love you. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. It was great conversations. Maybe we can get Alex back next week or down the future and have some more of these conversations, buddy.
Yeah, Alex, let me just say I really appreciate the passionate debate, but let's try to keep it good faith. You know, I'm doing this for the people who can't speak for themselves. You know, I try to keep all humanity in mind.
So am I, but you know, I also have the right to ask questions or call out something that I just think is not true, right? So
that's why
I appreciate this also.
Yeah. That's why I pointed out, Dave, that I believe that Alex's heart is in the right place, and just like other people who are kind of buying into crypto or Bitcoin for that matter, because it's not all cryptos are created equal, right? I would still say that Bitcoin is the one decentralized, and I mean it still has its issues. It can be manipulated, yada yada, but I think that Alex's heart is in the right place, and even though we can disagree, and I disagree with him a lot, I do believe he's trying to present solutions like a lot of other people are. So that's why I have him here today, Dave.
No, I agree. And I don't think I think his passion is rooted in the fact that he believes in his cause, which is why I have a ton of respect for it. But we also need to be careful about how fast we shoot into this transhuman stage. Because next thing you know, we find weirdos like Epstein have been running our MIC for 46 years, you know? So we have to just be careful. That's all I'm stretching. It's not the technology. It's whose hands it's in and how we apply it. We have to be ethical before we're technologically advanced, because otherwise we just blow ourselves up. Thanks, Pasta.
Dave, thank you for calling in and for always calling in. That's Dave from Melbourne. Oof. So you get this show's better than coffee, Alex Strenger. You just come on the show and wake you up.
Let me give me a second. I was doing some research about Proton versus other servers regarding privacy.
I knew you were looking at something.
It's one of the better ones. Don't get me wrong. I'm not totally shitting on them. They're like one of the better ones out there, but the
they're
options
the,
just
they're
suck.
the
And they're
best
handing over
by
information
far.
to law enforcement.
No, hold on. Let's look this up. And yes, that's not a good thing, obviously, but you still have privacy. You still have keyword partially guaranteed privacy. Like, I don't have to give you Proton doesn't require me to KYC my information to generate an address. So I could generate a Proton address where my name and information has no it is not associated with that account. I could use their Lumo AI service while still keeping my data private, which is what I'm saying, which is a way to opt out of mass.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's, you know what I mean?
Decent.
Like they are good. Like Gmail gets hacked all the time in databases, right? Like I don't feel comfortable putting any sensitive information on Gmail, not because I'm worried about the government, but because I'm worried about private hackers or criminal enterprises hacking through my info to create a whole assortment of problems.
I mean,
right?
that's fair.
Proton, I don't have to worry about that using Proton Mail. Like people think, oh, it's the government that's going to be the problem. Like that we do this stuff to protect ourselves from the government. No, these governments are too inept and incompetent to do anything meaningful. It's private hackers, corporations, and criminal syndicates that you protect your privacy. Yeah. That's why you protect your privacy.
Work for the government.
But yeah,
that's true.
Possibly. what I'm saying though is
they are the government.
No, but the privacy protections that you implement for yourself are not to protect yourself from the government. It's to protect yourself from rogue private actors that don't care about anything.
Well, people should worry about the privacy regardless. So
I know.
I agree with you.
No shit. Obviously, but what I'm saying though is that the privacy concerns are people are just like missing the forest for the trees, and they're like worried about the wrong boogeyman. The real boogeyman is not the government. It's private actors. My
point with Proton is if you're talking about sensitive shit, don't use fucking email. Period.
Yeah,
and I disagree with you on that statement, Alex. But that's beside the point, because it's not the government is not like this. Because the government are all these. The majority of these major corporations that we're talking about, or just corporations that are like subdivisions of a major corporation, eventually they'll connect to the fascist oligarchs that are running the country anyways. So it is the country. Like, in other words, when you say YouTube, you could say the government, because YouTube is pretty much run by the government. Many times in front of us, they've gone down the CEOs, whether it be Susan Wojcicki, who are giving billions of dollars and millions of dollars to the fucking Clintons and whatnot. They go down to the hearings in Congress. Congress tells them what to do. They do it. They sell over and hand over all that information to the CIA or any other type of one of the 20 agencies that are out there. So if a corporation gets a hold of any information that they're spying on you with, eventually it will get to a corporate entity, a governmental entity. It will be there. So we can't separate the two, right? When we talk about major corporations in this country, you're pretty much talking about the government. We have
it's that public-private. It's that public-private partnership shit that
public-private partnership. Like all these flock cameras are technically owned by private companies. It eventually ends up in the hands of the state. Do we have a caller, by the way? Because I see your phone thing. Or did you just not take it?
I forgot to turn that off. We do not.
Oh, shit.
Guys,
we don't have a caller. You're good.
247-2721. If you want to bag on Bozo the clown, he's here. His name is Alex Strenger.
Wow.
You look like a fucking clown. You got a clown nose, right? You know what I'm saying?
You're being anti-Semitic.
You're fucking.
You're being anti-Semitic. Possibly.
Why? It's got nothing to do with your Jewishness. It's got everything to do with your fucking nose.
You're being an anti-Semite.
Yes.
I'm reporting you to the ADL after this.
Which, by the way, it's kind of crazy because I have a conversation with one person in my building. I'm moving out of this building next week, but I pretty much call it Little Zion, right? Because I'm in Highland Beach, Boca Raton.
This is a nice little office you got.
That you love the view outside. It's beautiful.
This is nice. Is that a green screen or is that for real?
It's a green screen, pal.
But
out my window to the right almost looks exactly like that behind me, though. When I look out my window, it's the Atlantic Ocean. But there is a conversation I had with somebody, and he was kind of like a Democrat for a while. He was a big fan of Rabin. Right? He talks about Rabin a lot, how the differences between Rabin and Israel 30 years ago to where it is right now. But he respects the fact that I want to differentiate between a Zionist and a Zionist and a Jewish person, and he respects that in me, because I would always say I'm anti-Zionist, but I'm pro-Jew, right? Like I would say that all the time.
All right, we got another one coming
When
in.
people say Jew
shit,
this,
another
Jew that,
caller.
I'm like, no, it's Zionist. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from?
It's Joanna from Orlando.
Joanna.
How you doing, Pasta?
I love you for calling in. How you doing, girl?
So I just wanted to say, as a regular Joe Schmo, nobody, living my life day to day, I have zero interest in learning about Bitcoin and that whole deal. Like, it's just, and I understand there's a lot of people get into it. And I also wanted to say that it's truly funny because, like, I see Alex is so into it, and then it seems like the two generations are just like battling each other. But I'm a millennial, and
I'm a millennial. I was born
and completely disinterested.
No, I'm a millennial also. I was born in the 80s. Like I was born in 86. So I feel where you're coming from. Why don't you want to learn?
You're a millennial.
Yeah. Why not?
86 is millennial.
I know.
I was born in 89.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually older than you. But why would you not?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, let me ask Joanna, Alex, and I'm going to say this. Listen, Joanna, I'm going to side a little bit with Alex on this one, because I get that you might not have the extra money or the lucrative interest to invest in it or whatnot. But a person like yourself, who's a young businesswoman who knows how to do so many things, should at least have their eye and understanding what the tools that Bitcoin can solve. I mean, there's issues with it, but when you start understanding money, because they never teach us how money works in school, right? They don't want us to know that. So you should have an interest in Bitcoin, especially down the pipeline. There might be a deal coming in where somebody has to pay you in Bitcoin, and you can get adequately paid in Bitcoin and transfer that over to American currency to pay your bills, right? So why aren't you interested in at least like kind of like peeking in through the window and taking a look and seeing what Bitcoin's about?
So I have, but I couldn't wrap my brain around it, and I didn't have the time to continue to try and wrap my brain around it. It's just one of those things. Like, I'm just as another, and again, regular Joe Schmo here. I'm nobody, I'm just a regular voter. I go to work every day. I'm not heavy into politics. I have my family, but I am into politics somewhat, as much as I can be. But it's just it was a lot to try and take in and try to understand, and it felt like to me trying to, like, I'm going back to school to try and learn a whole new thing. Right now, the biggest thing that I'm trying to learn right now is getting my accounting degree. And now I'm looking to that, and it's just like, now it's a whole nother world, and I don't have the time. And I think there's a lot of people who feel that way, regular people.
No, for sure.
There's a lot going on.
No, I agree. And I'm not trying to discount any of that. There's a book, right? There's a book called The Bitcoin Standard. It was one of the first books I ever read to really understand what this was. Okay. And it's time consuming to, it is time consuming to read, cover to cover. And I respect that you have I assume you have a job, you have a family, you have a degree you're pursuing. It's probably, going to be difficult to like really focus on a whole book while doing that. But, one of the cool things about AI and these new technologies is that you could take all of the information in that book, and chapter by chapter, you could go, you can get this book online, right? Or you can download a PDF of the book, right? And you can copy and paste each chapter, and you could plug it into, you can go on Proton, right? For privacy, get a Proton account, use their AI service Lumo, copy and paste each chapter. You say, explain each chapter in simple terms, and you can have AI explain everything that's in this book like you are 5 years old, and you can get a very, very solid understanding of why this is a better currency and why it's a good thing for you to at least use as a savings vehicle in whatever capacity you can. There's no right or wrong way there's a wrong way, just using leverage, but there's no right or wrong way to save money. It's never too much or too little. And you can learn why it's a good way why it's a really good savings vehicle. and you could do it without overwhelming yourself from a time standpoint or through stress.
You know, Joanna, during COVID, really quickly, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to hand it right over and I'll let you speak. During COVID, they created money out of thin air. In other words, we have what's called a fiat currency. It's not backed behind gold, silver, or any other type of mineral or resource. They just create it, right? And a lot of times your income tax that you pay, that money is supposed to be destroyed to balance it out. So therefore, there's somewhat of a volatility. In other words, there's what's the word I'm looking for? Scarcity, right? Like that's the word. You don't want to, the more money you print, the less it's worth, right? That's just basic mathematics. So you want to eliminate some of the money while you're creating new money to keep it balanced. But during COVID, they created all this money. When people say, oh, socialism doesn't work. We have a socialist country. It's for the rich because they created all this money and they gave it to all these corporations, they made so many new millionaires and billionaires out there. But by doing so, it devaluated our currency, and that's why we have inflation. That's why today it costs more money to buy a carton of milk or a carton of eggs or anything because of the fact that they're just printing money out of thin air. Bitcoin eliminates that, right? Where it only has it's a structured system where it only produces so many Bitcoins per day, so many per year, so many until it hits a ceiling. So in other words, the manipulation of making more currency and then giving it to their friends, while the little people who have their savings, their money's worth less because they do that, Bitcoin solves that problem. Do you understand that part of that, Joanna?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree in that I think that no matter whatever we do, the elites are going to do what they want to do. They tell us that, oh, we're doing this and that's going to solve this and this is going to do that. And, oh, we take your money, we destroy this and we make more. We don't know what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody's seeing that. They're just saying
the elites, Joanna, the elites can do whatever they want to do. But the cool thing about like saving in a better currency is that when you have a little bit more financial freedom, you can also do it. You can also do what you want. You can also, You can also make it harder for them. Like when you're saving in a better currency, you also have a lot more leverage to do what you want to do as well. So let them do what they want to do. They can do whatever they want as long as I'm able to do whatever I want as well, and I don't have to deal with the blowback of it. And there's still a myriad of ways where you can live like that. And people are so black-pilled and in a in like a trauma-based mind control headspace that they're not even trying to implement that.
Joanna, I don't know where we're at in this conversation.
One thing that makes me, I was going to ask a question because this is one thing that makes me nervous. Like, I am not a gambler. I like sure things. I like the numbers. I want to see the numbers. Numbers make sense to me. People don't. People lie all the time.
Well, then you should buy some. Then it sounds like Bitcoin is for you because it's literally a system based on code, which is entirely based on numbers.
So here's my question, because like what I was gonna say is like I don't like gambling. So when it comes to like my 401k, it makes me so nervous when they switched it that it's not just a base interest base to trade and have it go into these different companies, and then you have some financial advisor is moving money around and it goes up and it goes down. I don't like that. I just want to see it go up. When it comes down, it makes me very
Joanna, I get that. Hold on. Sorry. Do you know what's in your 401k?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what's in your 401k? Do you know the companies that are in your 401k, and do you have the ability to tell your company to tell your job what you want to put your 401k money into? Are you able to actively invest in your 401k?
I can, and I tried, and the anxiety, it just gives me so much anxiety making those type of decisions that I just was like, okay, financial advisors that you have on staff, I don't even want to look at it because it gives me so much anxiety to see that. I'd rather it be in just a savings account than actually be in a 401k.
Okay, so you understand
that
if you put your
matches my 401k. So
okay, so you understand that if you put your money into a savings account, you're gonna lose, like, the money that you save will lose money via compounded inflation, and then by the time you're retired, you save literally nothing and made your life exponentially harder.
I think that this show is turning into today too much of a crypto explanation. I do, yeah. I think we had enough of the crypto talk for right fucking.
No, that's fine. We should talk about Lindsey Graham.
I mean, I get you guys, but I don't.
Would you like to talk about?
There's so many things to discuss.
Lindsey Graham,
Ladybug.
Hey, we lost a great MAGA. We lost great MAGA. We need a moment of silence for the loss of our
or a moment of dancing.
Great MAGA patriot Lindsey Graham. We lost.
Joanna, did you go to church and thank God for what he did?
Sure.
I'm going to give you the last word, my dear. Go ahead and you get to take the last 30 seconds.
Okay, so I guess just for what we were talking about, one last point, and it's not even the last point, is what I said before. It's just that the regular person, I think it is, and this is also coming from, a place of, I'm old school. I don't do the tickety talks. I don't know how to do the gram or none of that. Like, I don't. I just.
You might not.
I'm never
talks,
not
but for Christmas.
Wait, hey, do you have
for Christmas? I am buying
Joanna.
Joanna,
Do you have kids?
Yes.
Do you have children? How old are your kids?
Yes, I have two.
How old are they?
14 and 7.
Okay, is your 14-year-old kid able to get a job?
14 and 7.
Okay, is your 14-year-old able to work?
He can't work officially, but he does he has his little business that he's trying to, he washes cars and does things around the house for like neighbors and stuff, trying to make a little money.
Does he make decent money doing it?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
And I told him, you need to value yourself more. I know you're 14, but they charge so much for washing cars. You can do better than $10.
Well, then he's going to learn, which is a good thing. But what's the minimum age? What state are you in?
What are you trying to prove, Alex?
The point. No, hold on. The point is, you're talking about regular people. Like, oh, regular people can't afford this. Like, I'm a regular person, and I became middle class by like saving in a better currency. Right? It's not that difficult. If your son is old enough to work and he's able to live with you, he can literally take everything that he made at his job while still living under your roof, put that money into Bitcoin, let it sit there for 5 years, do this continuously, and then 5 years later, all of a sudden, he's going to have a whole different set of advantages compared to what you may have had when you were that age. That's it. It's not rocket science.
Joanna, I'm giving you Bitcoin for Christmas through Cash App because it's that simple to do. So you'll have some Bitcoin. You can hold on to it. You can cash it out, use it, do whatever you want with it. I love you. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
Love you too.
All right.
Bye.
How do we get off on this goddamn Bitcoin thing today?
Well, you're talking about imperialism and you're talking about the petrodollar and you're talking about all this stuff. And well, it's because we have a shitty currency and we have the best currency in the world. And it's like having the best house in a bad neighborhood. And so that's, we're talking about solutions to the problem. And it's the very most obvious solution. So that's why.
I mean, I like the concept of Bitcoin and everything. Like my issue is it's more of an investment tool and, and not like, hey, I need to go buy a candy bar or whatever.
No, but it's an investment tool, but you still can buy. Like it doesn't. Nothing is stopping you from buying a candy bar with it. Like you can still buy.
Well, that was my point. Was like you can't even cash any of that shit out without the government knowing about it now. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna prevent that.
Well, yes and no, right? It depends. Like you can still send peer-to-peer money.
We're not talking about Bitcoin anymore.
We're
not talking about Bitcoin anymore. We got 22 minutes left to talk about Lindsey fucking Graham. Let's talk about this fucking imperial.
The wicked ladybug is dead. That's all we got.
It's okay. Thank you so much, madam. This is not. I got more coffee going.
Hey, pull up
Okay.
how much he made trading stocks though. Let's see if he had as illustrious of a.
Do we have a call coming in, Josh?
I don't think so. Oh,
Let's
shit,
take the phone thing down. There we go. Okay, so Lindsey Graham, how did he die? There's a lot of talk out there right now. There are conspiracies. You saw him in the drone factory, which, by the way, okay,
which got bombed, by the way.
I don't want to dance on anybody's grave. I'm not one to celebrate.
I'm not celebrating.
I'm trying to make a point that there are no respects that need to be paid for Lindsey Graham. To the killing Russians, it's a great investment. To the last Ukrainian, the guy is a big piece of shit. Has always was a big piece of shit, right? And this place is a better place today without him. Now, how did he fucking die is the question right now, because a lot of people are saying we saw a picture of him. We saw him in the drone factory, like 3 days ago, talking. He was fine. And now all of a sudden we come back, he's dead. Alex Strenger, how do you think Lindsey Graham died?
That drone factory got bombed, by the way.
Yeah, Vladimir Putin poisoned him, so we need to start World War III with Russia, obviously.
It's out there.
Are you Lindsey Graham?
I don't think that's really happened, though, right? Because I don't think they would go to those extremes. Russia's been doing everything they can to avoid World War III for quite some time right now. I don't think they would go to that extreme where they would give Donald Trump or the American government, the empire, or those who called the shot, to use the fact that the Russians poisoned Lindsey Graham to go to World War III, because that's all they would need at that point. Was like, all right, you killed a sitting senator, we're going to war. That's it. So I don't think for sure that it was poison. Do you think it could have been vaccine related, though?
No, I think what was it?
I think it could be vaccine related. I've seen the pictures of the mask on him.
Okay, but like, what's the? Let's figure. Let's. There's a lot of things to speculate on, but like, what did they say the cause of death was for him?
They're not. No,
they did. They said
it was mild fucking here. They said it was like some mild heart disease or.
No, they said something.
Hold on. Let's use our trusted AI service and figure it out. What was Lindsey Graham's cause of death? Hold on.
While Alex Strenger is looking that up and using the AI for good, Russia News. This is, did Russia eliminate warmonger Lindsey Graham in Kiev? Was famously called killing Russians the best investment he ever made. Died at 70 following his sudden illness right after his trip to Ukraine. Go ahead, Alex. I'll give you the floor. What do you got?
Okay. They said that Lindsey Graham died from aortic dissection, which is a tear in the main artery with the aortal artery, the aorta, that was caused by arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease, which is the hardening of the arteries. The preliminary medical examiner report cites this brief and sudden illness as the cause of death. Okay, give me a second. We're gonna ask a follow up.
Okay, while you ask the follow up, I'm gonna read some stuff. Okay, the 48-hour death timeline is too wild to ignore. Graham meets Zelensky. Okay, hold on a second. Graham meets Zelensky and tours the hidden drone manufacturing facility in Kiev. Hours later, the Russian MOD launches a devastating missile attack, completely obliterating that exact factory. Simultaneously, Russian precision missiles leveled a high-level hotel in Kiev, packed with top NATO commanders, where Graham was reportedly staying. Graham instantly dies suddenly right after returning home. This is all coincidence. He wanted to bring hellish sanctions to Russia, but it looks like he went straight to hell instead. Did the Russian strike catch him in the drone factory or NATO hotel, or did someone in Washington send him there knowing the missiles were coming? And by the way, you can see right there, he's in the drone factory. I mean, he doesn't look like a guy who's about to die.
No, I'm not. And I'm looking at the cause of all this stuff and what could happen. And it could be like from lack of exercise, smoking, poor diet, and age, which is a factor. But we're going to see alternative explanations if he had any other issues.
I don't think that he was killed by the Russians. I I don't know.
By Iran? No, I don't think so either.
I don't think so. I think it could be vaccine related. I think he could be sick. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I think
I'm just glad he's dead.
Hey, maybe it was maybe it was AIDS.
I don't know. It could be something. Who knows? What I'm just saying is that a couple days ago, he's smiling, talking. He's on TV. He looks like the normal old Lindsey Graham eats squirrel. Lindsey Graham, you know. Don't worry, we're going to get you out of here soon, Alex. You've done a great job today.
Thank you. No, this is fun. I want to come back next week. This is a lot of fun. I love waking up early for this.
I do this. I started the show so I can wear sunglasses on a show, and 2, I would force myself to wake up early every single morning. We've had an amazing crowd today. We have a lot of people on Rumble today, which has been cool.
I can't wait to see the comments.
Like in the high 30s. We've been having like an average of 60 to 70 people watching live, which is kind of cool because it was a couple weeks ago when we first started. It was like 20 and 30. So it's little by little. And this is very humbling for me because at one point before I got demonetized, we were just starting to hit up. I've been on shows where I've gotten millions of views, and now I'm back over here starting from the ground up. But it's kind of cool starting with the peeps I got, the show I have. You heard Dave call in. There's a lot of callers like that. Joanna called in today, so it was fun. So thank you for coming along, man. We've had a lot of good time today. I need you for like 6 more minutes, and then we can get you out.
That's fine. I'm excited. We got to talk about Graham Plattner also. We had a whole list of things we want to talk about, and then none of it got talked about. Are we done with Lindsey Graham?
All right, so Lindsey Graham is dead.
He never met a war he didn't like. Well,
yeah.
Lindsey Graham is dead. He never met a war he didn't like. And what are we having for breakfast after the show?
Yes.
That's the $1 million question.
But you're going to see, have you seen what's going on Fox News? And I mean, the mainstream media is so fucking useless. It is terrible. Watching CNN yesterday give this whole thing, you know, Lindsey Graham was charming. He had this Southern charm. And I know he was kind of controversy, but, you know, I've met him before and I talked to him before and he's a gentleman and whatnot. It's like, fuck that dude. I'm glad. I don't want to.
He's a war whore.
He's a fucking war hawk piece of shit. And like I said, it looks a little brighter out there today. And what are we having for breakfast?
My main concern is what are we having for breakfast, and I think that's actually the appropriate response. And one thing I've learned this past year, kind of stepping away from a lot of this political stuff, and it looks like I'm being dragged back because I'm hosting this morning show with you. But the point is that one thing I've learned from like kind of stepping away and taking a breather is that it's really not worth it to get worked up over a politician. And when you're getting worked up, whether you're happy or sad about a politician's passing, like you're wasting all your energy towards a machine that really doesn't care about you at all. So the appropriate response actually is what's for breakfast.
You know, I kind of agree with that too as well, but I think we should, it's fair, but in a way we have to also be vocal about what's going on. Anytime the elites or governmental representatives, right? And unfortunately, the people here in the United States are so fucking pitted against each other. They are fucking propagandized. They are misled, misstepped, and they're arguing with each other.
You can be vocal with that. You can be vocal.
Their biggest argument. What's that?
Well, you could be vocal without getting worked up. Like you could be vocal while having mental clarity. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like you could be vocal about problems that are going on, figure out what these problems are, identify solutions for these problems, or identify at the very least how these problems can at least help you improve your position in life. And then, you know, when a sitting senator dies suddenly, you just figure out what you're going to have for breakfast the next morning, because that's the only thing you should worry about.
I ignore most of them, but fuckers like Graham and Kissinger, like I revel in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't put a lot of energy into it for sure. It's passive.
I personally love sunny side up eggs, is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
I'm good with sunny side.
I've had good Q with Alex, and Alex is he's in the middle class because he works his ass off. Not because of Bitcoin.
Well, I do work my ass off, but I also made some good investments, which allow me to continue working my ass off and continue to stay motivated. Right.
You had the capital from working your ass off.
Yeah, and I also had some,
You fucking have run my fat ass around town in Austin, listening to your music while you're riding me everywhere, and I've seen you. You just out there working your ass off.
No, I do work my ass off, absolutely. But like the reason I haven't gotten burnt out from doing this over the course of years is because I'm seeing results from working my ass off. And the reason why I'm seeing results from working my ass off is because I was blessed enough to learn about and invest in a better currency and save money in that currency.
Yep. I agree, and it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B.
Yes.
So let's talk about Graham Plattner for a little bit, because it's not about Graham Plattner as much. But first of all, I just want to put for the record that I thought that Graham Plattner was another AOCIA.
He worked for He worked for Blackwater.
Yeah, I mean,
he was literally a sociopath who talked about how much he loves killing people, and now he's like a Manchurian candidate spokesperson for the working class.
Yeah.
While having
we got the professor coming in,
bro. While having a full-blown Nazi Totenkopf tattoo on his chest, and then you got like this progressive CNN establishment class of politicians and thought leaders. Nice coffee mug, by the way. I saw that. Nice. Let's go. Nice coffee mug. Very excited. But anyway,
really?
the point.
we've got the professor on.
Wait. The point is,
we have a phone call.
Fine. Then I want to finish my thought when he comes on.
About Graham Plattner, you can.
Yeah.
Hey, Professor, I heard you're on the air with us.
Yes.
Go ahead, Professor.
Yeah,
you got
Kevin from Rockaway. How are you?
Oh, the
Yeah,
Kevin Cash.
actually,
we have two resident professors on the show, Alex. We have Kevin from Rockaway, and we have Snorky from Iowa. But this is Professor Kevin. We have two professors on the show. We're so
wait.
lucky.
Where do you teach?
I'm an adjunct.
Okay, I was going to say, or do you identify as a professor?
We identify him as the professor. We gave him the nickname on the WBAI show because he's always educating.
Oh shit! All right.
Let's see what he's got to say. Go ahead, Professor.
So actually, I want. Is it okay? Can I hear your guest finish his thought on Plattner?
All right, we're gonna start. Let's start from the beginning then. All right. So you got this guy who worked for Blackwater, right? You got a guy who voluntarily worked for Blackwater, bragged numerous times about how much he enjoys killing people, and now he's a Manchurian. Now he's like this Manchurian candidate representing these progressive values that he clearly doesn't believe in. He has a full-blown Nazi Totenkopf tattoo on his chest. It's not hidden. It's very obvious. And you have this political pundit class on CNN, MSNBC, think tanks in Washington, these World Economic Forum type figures that have spent the past 8 years calling anybody who's remotely conservative and a white male and somebody who lives in a rural part of America a Nazi and a rapist. And so they decided in all of their brilliance to run an actual Nazi and an actual rapist in order to appeal to those voters. And now you have Graham Plattner.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to say, the thing about, I have to agree with Sleepy a lot there towards the end. Anytime, I'm not, whatever. I'm not a believer or anything like that, but there's definitely a dimension beyond comprehension as far as karma goes and stuff. And it's I don't think it's ever great to be dancing on people's graves, but there's something.
No, and just for the record, I'm not dancing on Lindsey Graham's grave. My attitude is pure indifference, and
I didn't accuse you of it.
No, I know, but I want to put it out there just in general for the universe. I'm not dancing on anybody's grave at all. I'm just focused on the important things in life, which is breakfast. But anyway,
I'm not going full out on it. I might do a little soft shoe, because it's the guy is just he's a Dick Cheney patriot. He was just another chicken hawk. He's of age. He could have went to Vietnam. He's all these guys that, had other priorities and took all these deferments or just, weren't around. I hate Bill Clinton, but at least, they were calling him when he was running, I'm a little older than you, I'm more in Pasta's age group. They were saying, oh, he's a draft dodger. He's this, he's that. He was a Rhodes Scholar in England, and he was against the war. When you got guys that are for the war, but they're only for it for you, not for them. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of guy that when they go, yeah, exactly. What's for breakfast? there's really nothing that, the guy was really a piece of shit, and I'm sorry, that's just, anybody who's ready to send your kid or your family. I have a nephew over in the area of the Hormuz right now, and I worry about him every day because he used to call me because he's whatever. I'm a veteran myself, and now he's incommunicado because he's doing what he's doing. But these guys are just the Dick Cheney Patriots, the Donald Trump with his bone spurs, and his tough guy attitude. They're real tough once they're out of the age group to where you can go fight. But that's really all I really wanted to say.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, and Donald Trump, he is fighting the globalists and the communists, and everything he's doing is advanced 5D chess. And if you can't understand that, you might be an Antifa terrorist. But that's aside the point. I digress.
Could I say something, guys? I want to say that the whole Graham Plattner thing, and I'm glad you guys got acquainted in the proper way. Thank you, Alex, for being so funny, because there are still a lot of people out there who actually believe that nonsense you just spurted, and I think that's why.
Well, there's a whole influencer campaign of people connected to the White House that are trying to perpetuate this, and good luck. All
right, don't bring up Laura Logan. She's not here to defend herself. Or Laura Loomer. But let me say this much about Graham Plattner. The reason why I disagree with him was not even so much the things that you said, right? First of all, it does seem, and I think there's something bigger to this, and I'm glad that the professor's here, because Professor, obviously, he is not a DSA guy, but he's linked with the DSA type. In other words, they look at this guy, Graham Plattner, as a guy who will do more for labor in America, because he was an oyster farmer. He was a laborer himself. He wasn't, though.
He was given an oyster farm, and his main customer is his mom.
Okay, beside the point. I'm not talking about actual facts. I'm talking about
the narrative,
narrative and how they marketed him, right? Like they look at that and stuff. And he was against what was going on in Israel, Gaza. The reasons why I thought he was a CIA type of candidate was his opinions on Russia, Ukraine. He says the same bullshit line that all the Democrats say. He goes, and I have the video and I'll play it. In fact, let me just grab it really quickly. But once again, he says shit like, I believe that Ukraine has a right to defend itself against Russian invasion and aggression. Like every single fucking Democrat out there that's establishment paid or paid off. I still can't believe to this fucking day there's not one Democrat in Congress, not even Barbara Lee, who voted against the AUMF. She was the only one to do that. Authorized use of military force. She's still supporting goose-stepping Nazis in fucking Kiev. It's ridiculous. But Graham Plattner hit the same fucking argument. To me, if you're not recognizing, you don't have to be pro-Russia, but if you're not recognizing what's going on with the United States and how Ukraine has been taken over and controlled by the West and our allies, right, then you're ignoring imperialism. And I think a lot of the Democrats pretty much ignore imperialism, and they don't want to take any accountability for it. So that's why I'm in 86 in Graham Plattner and the Democratic Party as a whole. That's why I don't like Graham Plattner.
I really wanted him to stay in the race, though, because like I've kind of taken a break from making videos, but I would have had a field day with this guy. Yeah. I would have had a fucking field day with Graham Plattner if he was in the race, and now I don't get to do that.
Yeah, just like people had a field day when Randy Fine was running. Go ahead.
He's still running, right?
Yeah, he's running against Dan
Bilzerian. Oh my God, I get a field day with that too.
Yeah. Oh, so can I. That guy's such a fucking phony. But go ahead, Professor. We got the 3 minutes. I'll let you get the last couple words.
Look, I'm not from Maine. I don't really, this guy wasn't even on my radar until they started showing pictures of him with his shirt off and the skull and the totem cop, whatever it's called, thing. People do, anybody with more than one tattoo will tell you, at least one of them was a mistake. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's a pretty big mistake to get a full-blown Nazi tat on your chest, right? Like when they have gotten after like conservatives for nothing nearly as bad.
Let's let the professor talk.
Sure,
Go ahead.
I don't like necessarily. I think that those kind of things. I mean, there was the Norwegian ski team like a couple Olympics ago put Nordic runes, and they're from Norway, on their Olympic sweaters, and people were calling them Nazis. I mean, it's just, look, unless it's a swastika or like a skull and crossbones. I mean, that's like saying like the pirates were not. I don't know. Whatever.
The tattoo didn't really concern me. I didn't care about the fucking tattoo.
Well, fair.
Yeah.
I don't really care about it either. He wasn't going to win. Like,
hold on. Let Professor talk. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I also think that people can evolve, and I think that people can, he maybe he did. Maybe he was part of the alt-right. Maybe, for all I know, he was, whatever. But, he definitely, he was talking the right talk, and except for I agree with you on the Ukrainian thing. However, I'm not pro, I'm not on the Ukraine side as far as the war goes. But having said that, I think that if you're a Ukrainian and your country is being invaded, then you're pretty you must take up arms and defend it.
But who are you defending it from? You're defending it from the Russians who you've instigated and killed their people for so long in the Donbass, or are you going to defend it from the Americans who pretty much stole your fucking government and sent your president out of town, had a color revolution and changed everything, and there's plenty of proof of that? Who are you going to defend it against?
And suspended elections. How long ago were they supposed to have elections there?
A while ago,
yeah. I think that once, look, there's like, like they say with movies being made, right? There's the one you make in your head with the script. There's the one you shoot, and then there's the editing. It's like three different movies. I can only look at this through the lens of context and reciprocity. Okay, if this country was being invaded by a foreign power, okay, like let's do the whole, whatever, like Red Dawn scenario or something like that. Okay, no matter what we did, which I'm sure, like in what we can expect is a form of blowback of some kind. It'll probably be from a non-state actor or by proxies of another. But let's just say, like, have that mental experiment that we're getting attacked. It's my duty to pick up arms and shoot back, because this is where I live and this is where my family lives, and I'm an American.
And to be fair, too, as well,
the next part of if you could just let me finish just one thought.
Good, buddy. I'm sorry.
The next part of it is always going to be what happens after you kick them out, like the power vacuum. And that was all about same thing in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and everything. And especially with the way we try to do war these days and regime change and stuff, where we give them a timeline so they can say, all right, all we got to do is hold this down until these guys get out, and then we'll figure out how to fill the power vacuum. But if you're dropping, if tomahawks are hitting my building, I'm shooting back.
I gotcha. Listen, we're past the hour, Professor, and I get it. And I just want to piggyback and say, like, yeah, even though there are, and this happened to me because I was debating Destiny in Austin, Texas that time. I got to hang out with Alex. There were people out there that were kind of mad at me. There were Destiny supporters, and Destiny has always been like a.
Destiny didn't have any supporters at that event. Stop lying.
He had
no supporters.
He had like 10 or 12. No,
he had supporters. He did not have supporters anywhere.
He had 10 or 12. They went and took pictures with him after and stuff, but they were mad at me because they said that I was implying that all Ukrainians are Nazis. And I said, no, not all Ukrainians are Nazis. They're just a lot of them are just now tied into the street justice, the street gangs, the military now. The Azov battalion has been integrated into the military, and they have a lot of control and say with Zelensky. So even though every single person that fought on the front line is not a Nazi, they have a Nazi problem, right?
Well, yeah, and it does make sense for Graham Plattner to support the Ukrainians, considering the tattoos he has. But that's another story.
There you go. That's Alex Stringer, everybody.
I mean,
Alex, let everybody know where they can find you. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Who, if I can say,
yeah, Professor Kev.
Yeah, I just want to say, Alex, you seem like a really smart guy, but the way your style of discourse with kind of like jumping on people and stuff while they're talking is kind of reminiscent of Destiny to me. It reminds me a lot of you remind me a lot of Destiny.
You're a Destiny guy. Ooh.
I'm a Destiny.
It's just an observation.
I mean, we're both Jews, so it fits, you know.
Yeah,
we're both Jews, so the shoe fits.
Zionist? I don't know. Well, you got to work on that, Alex. When you get excited, you got to get yourself a piece of paper, write down a word so that you can remember after they're done. But I think he did a pretty good job, Kev. He got a little excited here and there. He's passionate, but I think he did okay. He can improve.
I'm just trying to wake up, man. I'm not like this is my first time doing any kind of content in like over a year. I'm kind of getting back into it. So
I get it.
I appreciate your patience.
The Yankee hat that pissed me off. Yeah.
Well, you're a Met fan or something? Is that what it is? I'm sorry. I'd be pissed off too. Because I'd be pissed off too, considering the season you're having. So I get it. I understand.
Listen, you might have.
But we're used to it.
He might have the Yankees,
but we got the Knicks though. We're all excited about the Knicks.
We're all excited about the New York Nets. Right. Professor, get on out of here.
Common ground. That's what this is about.
Big common ground. Hey, right, honestly, we're gonna. Hey, listen, we're gonna three-peat. I'm not gonna lie. We're going for the three-peat.
Calm the fuck down. Let's get a fucking back-to-back. Professor, thank you so much for joining in. Please join in tomorrow if you got time. Okay.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you.
You got it, my friend.
Take care.
Alex, we're running over time.
Okay.
You got breakfast ready, and you're not even at the table.
I know. I'm really upset. I'm more upset about this than Lindsey Graham, believe it or not. You can find me. My X is at the Alex Stranger, TheAlexStrenger. Instagram is Showtime Alex Stranger. Rumble and YouTube Alex Stranger. That's pretty much it. Type Alex Stranger, AlexStrenger. And then you can also visit my website, alexstranger.com, if you want to book a fun little pedicab tour in Austin to help fund my creative ambitions.
Bro, you're amazing. I love you, brother. I can't wait to see you again soon. I wore this shirt because I would hope you remember when we went to.
I remember. Soon is literally next Monday, so I'm excited. Very, very.
Yeah, I come back next Monday.
I like co-hosting. It's fun to co-host this stuff.
We're not going to get too deep into the Bitcoin rabbit.
We don't need to. Although
we'll get into other stuff.
It does fix a lot of these problems, though, right? Like it's one of those.
I thought it was a fascinating conversation. Dave is the actual person, and I'm so glad that Dave gets to call the show and have those conversations.
I like it, but when you said that BlackRock owns 51% of the supply, I'm just like, that's just not true. You can verify that on a blockchain. Like that's just not
okay. But they are. Listen, the whales are manipulating, and it's pegged to our fucking dollar. So there are some issues with.
So buy as much as you can, so that the whales, because if you don't, then the whales are going to buy all of it. And either way, if the whales buy all of it, it gets
the extra lucrative income.
Some of us do. That's not true. There's always a way to find extra money. There's always a way to find extra money.
Go find some extra eggs. I love you. Have some breakfast.
Actually.
We'll see you next week.
All organic, gluten-free. All right. Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Love you. All right.
All right. Peace out, Alex. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Let's listen. While you're there, though, listen to the closing monologue, please, Alex. Okay.
All right. Let's listen to the closing.
Let's get the music, Maestro.
It's on.
All right. I love it. Perfect.
It's doing that muffle thing. Hold on.
Fucking shit.
It's StreamYard, dude. I have no control over this. All right, try it now.
You ready?
Yeah.
As we wrap up today's show, let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of the diversity of thought and the peace we can cultivate with our neighbors. In a world that often feels divided, it's our differences that can actually bring us together. Every unique perspective, every story shared, enriches our collective experience and fosters understanding. Remember, it's okay to disagree. It's how we handle those disagreements that truly matters. Let's embrace dialogue over debate, compassion over conflict. When we listen to one another, we open the door to meaningful relationships. By engaging in our diverse communities, we can find common ground and build bridges that promote peace. So I encourage you to reach out to someone with a different viewpoint. Share a meal, have a conversation, or simply listen. Let's create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding in our neighborhoods and beyond. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Remember, together we can celebrate our diversity and pave the way for a more brighter, more peaceful future. So until next time, keep the dialogue flowing and the peace growing. I want to thank all our callers today. Dave from Melbourne, Professor Kevin, Joanna, thank you so much. I want to thank Sleepy J on the ones and twos for being a great co-host with our good friend Alex Strenger today. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow. We got a Truth Wire later on today. If you want to check this out on the Truth Wire on our YouTube, Fiorella will be there. Matt Weinglass from the Homeless Left. We're going to have some conversations about Lindsay, about Graham Plattner, about flock cameras, this flock craziness. I'll see you all tomorrow. I love you. Peace.